action.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team pick.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Starladder Season 8 here on Beyond the Summit. We've got 4 matches coming up for you guys today. We've got 4 friends in Krille facing off against Next.KZ to start things off. I'm Zyori. Joining me today is Merlini, and our draft is underway. Merlini, my friend, how are you today?
Hello?
Hello, there we go. Hi.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Pretty good.
10 seconds remaining.
Pretty good indeed. So, 4 friends in Krille.
Radiant
This used to be
team.
Next.KZ, I think, on our Radiant side. Now listed as Next League. I guess a new sponsorship. I recognize all the names over there. So let's go ahead and get right into the draft here. 4FC going to ban out OD as well as Elder Titan to start things off. Pugna and Lich going to be banned out for Next League. And of course, 4FC here going to open up with a first pick Mirana. A hero been getting a lot of love since MLG Columbus. I don't know. What are your thoughts about first pick Mirana here in 679?
I think it's decent for some
10
teams,
seconds
especially
remaining.
depending on your playstyle. Works really well with Bane pickup, which also seems to have been
Radiant
really
team
popular as of late.
Yeah, I mean, anyone that you can have some sort of a sure stun to land that arrow with pairs very nicely with Mirana. And she has that versatility. We've seen some of those games where she can carry through that mid-game and then also transition into a nice late-game hard carry if farm allows, of course. Clockwork and Visage going to be the first 2 picks on the board for
Dire
Next
team
League.
ban.
Can't say I'm too surprised. Neither hero really needs much of an introduction. Clockwork getting a lot of love here following off-lane changes. Visage, that classic support. And Venomancer here going to be the second pick for 4FC. Again, not a lot of introduction needed for Venomancer. I think him and
10
Clockwork were in
seconds
every
remaining.
single MLG Columbus match. They're just,
Radiant team
I don't know,
ban.
so valuable.
Too good.
Yeah, too good.
Too good indeed. And you casted some of the games
Dire
yesterday,
team
right?
ban.
And
Yes.
looks like I think 4FC had like a rather weak performance yesterday.
I believe so. They only played 1 game, and I'm forgetting who it was and the result.
I think it was
don't
like
think they were victorious.
I forget who it was too. OSG was the team.
OSG,
10
okay.
seconds remaining.
Yeah. So 4FC, they're one of those teams that they've sort of consistently
5
had
seconds
stand-ins, and I think
remaining.
yesterday they had at least 1 stand-in. Today it looks like they're full roster, so maybe that'll make a slight difference
Reserve
here. And it's
time.
also interesting to see OD first banned again, because he was that go-to pick for a while, and then he fell off, and now it seems the Outworld Devourer is back.
Yeah, RTZ I think brought him back out of obscurity. But I mean, the hero was still really strong. When he got nerfed, he didn't really get nerfed that badly. He got nerfed with a few
Radiant
armor,
team
and now you can't abuse Essence R with items. But all in all, it's not really that big of a nerf.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think that was one that maybe a little bit of overreaction in terms of, oh, he's useless now. You can't use your Tranquil
Yeah.
Boots to get Essence Aura, and of course, yeah, still very
10
powerful.
No, the buckler.
remaining.
Yeah. The buckler, yeah. But it seems in pretty much
5
every game I've
seconds
seen with an OD, I
remaining.
think, where he's left unchecked to either farm the safe lane or farm middle against someone who can't really go toe-to-toe with him. It's
Radiant
a recipe
team
for
pick.
disaster, so definitely not surprised to see him banned out here. Next round of bans complete. 4FC going to take out the Storm Spirit as well as the Life Stealer, and Next League going to ban out the Viper as well as the Lone Druid. Talk to us about Viper a little bit. He's one that's
I
been
think
getting
he's
a
Dire
little more
actually-
love.
team pick.
Yeah, I think he's really, really strong too. The thing about Viper is like you don't really need to do anything to have a big impact in team fights. All you need to do is like take a lot of damage and look for the big shining yellow guy and then cast your ultimate on him. That's like really all you need to do, which is kind of, I don't know. I don't really like his concept as a hero too much. And like Nether Toxin, all you need to do is right click people that are like already low, which you should be doing anyways,
10
and you're doing a lot of
seconds remaining.
damage. He's really annoying as a hero. He's kind of like OD in the
5
sense that
seconds
if you don't have anyone to lane against him, he's usually just gonna crush you.
Yeah.
Reserve time.
Yeah, Viper, one of those heroes, so powerful if he gets the farm, but at the opening stage, before he gets that mech, before he gets a survivability item, he's a little susceptible to ganks. But yeah, another one, if left unchecked, usually a
Radiant
recipe for
team
disaster.
pick.
Crystal Maiden here, going to be the 3rd pick for Next League to go with their Visage and Clockwork, and here 4FC going to go ahead and grab the Timber Saw to go with their Veno. and Mirana. Both rosters are pretty straightforward. I mean, nothing too cheesy one way or another, no heavy push strat or anything like that. Pretty well-rounded. We'll see how the rest of the drafts start to unfold. What I like about the 4FC draft, though, is it's kind of open-ended. You know, we've seen Mirana and Timbersaw play an array of different roles, even the Venomancer. I mean, we've been seeing Veno mid a little bit more frequently now, whereas before he was kind of always that position 4, position 5. So kind of hard to get a read on exactly what 4FC want to do with this draft, at least in the laning phase.
Time.
I like the bans out of the Storm Spirit and Lifestealer, though. I think that I saw one of Next.KZ's game yesterday, and Watafaka, whatever his name is, played a pretty ridiculous Storm Spirit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's kind of one of his signature heroes. I'm not surprised to see that banned out either. And, you know, Pugna is another hero that there was that, like, big Pugna craze following the patch, and then he fell off. And in Starladder, yesterday we saw a little bit of Pugna play, but he's another one that's kind of fallen off. There's that Bane pick you were talking about to pair with the Mirana on 4FC, and, of course, Weaver here for Next League.
Yeah, Weaver, he is pretty standard hero. I think 4FC had like a lot of trouble dealing with Weaver yesterday. It was like a Weaver versus Gyrocopter matchup, and then Weaver just got completely out of hand. So at least they have some lockdown this time with Bane, but they just let him run all over him last game. So I hope they have a solution for him this time. And yeah, nothing unusual coming out from either team. Very, very standard.
Absolutely, and I see in chat you may want to turn on your mic for in-game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you may be muted there. So sorry, folks, 2-minute delay, so that will be fixed, but no worries. But yeah, you're exactly right. With the Weaver, you really need some sort of a lockdown. And we even saw towards the end of Columbus, when you have a Mirana to initiate, it can work if you have a Mirana that's spot on, but it's a little bit of a gamble. If you don't connect with those arrows, you can sort of shoot yourself in the foot a little bit if you don't have any other real keen initiation power, and the complement of the Bane with the Mirana helps take some of that pressure off of her. Puck going to be the final ban for 4FC, and TA going to be that final ban coming out for Next League. So obviously those mid-heroes, well, some of them getting taken off the board anyhow, and we'll see what they want to grab. Probably going to be a support Veno from 4FC. As I mentioned, we've seen him in the mid-roll a little bit more, at least a couple times, but looking like probably a Veno, Bane, Mirana tri-lane here, if I had to guess.
I like the TA ban. TA's really underrated too, I feel like. Like Refraction nerf, whatever, 25 more mana, it hurts her early game, but she's still a pretty versatile hero, especially with Vision being a lot more important around Roshan, and just in general, like the Psionic traps are pretty underrated, but teams don't really like to pick her that much because if she doesn't have a good start, then she's just a huge liability and does not really have a good comeback mechanic.
Yeah, she doesn't have much of a flash farm or anything like a Shadow Fiend who may get a slow start and can turn it around. What are you thinking here for 5th picks? What would fit well with these rosters?
Just typical solo mids, it looks like. Puck banned out, Storm banned out, OD. There's like so many solo mids banned out. What are the common ones that are left? Kunkka, I think, would do okay on either team. I like Kunkka a lot too. What other ones?
Kunkka fan as well. The issue with Kunkka, though, is he's just so high skill cap. You really need someone on your team that's competent with Kunkka and practiced.
Are you calling these teams incompetent, Zero?
Well, with Kunkka, I know Blomberg actually does play a good Kunkka. So we saw it yesterday against OD, and he fared pretty well. But yeah, it's tricky, man. He's a high skill cap hero for sure. Dragon Knight here going to be 5th pick for Next League.
Yeah, that's like the lower skill cap here. It's like, oh, point and click for your stun. But I mean, it's a very safe pick, right? I don't particularly like him versus Timbersaw. I think that mid game like matchup is very poor, especially with DK without BKB. He just gets shredded by Whirling Death, and all that pure damage makes his third skill pretty useless. So prefer to see another utility pickup. More like a tempo controller in a team fight. Like Puck would have been perfect for their lineup, but unfortunately already banned out.
Yeah.
For 4 friends plus Krilly, I mean, they pretty much need that sort of same hero too. Like none of these have like a good AoE initiate team fight, like a Dream Coil, like an RP.
Right.
Anything like that would do pretty well.
And speaking of RP, I guess Magnus could be an option here for 4FC. I guess it really depends if they're planning on that Timbersaw.
They don't have any
like
combo with it though.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. I mean, you've got Poison Nova. RP's okay with Timbersaw to clump them up, but yeah, you're right. There's no kind of wombo combo follow-up, so we'll see what they want to do. 50 seconds of reserve time left for 4FC. They'll have to get executive pretty quickly here. I don't know. What do you want to pick when you are anticipating a DK mid?
I would like to pick something to shut him down, like Queen of Pain, although Queen of Pain just kind of fell off recently.
Yeah.
People like Bristleback a lot, just
Oh
because
yeah.
that goo's really annoying. It's a really good versus Visage, and like you can just outlast them in team fights with like Timber and Bristleback. What else would do decently for them? I'm trying to think of something with a lot of magic damage. The pool of supplements has not been that extremely high, especially for teams that don't have
10
players like
seconds
Mushi
remaining.
in mid,
Yeah.
which is
Oh,
Doom.
Doom.
Doom's
Interesting.
decent. I
Interesting.
like the Doom pickup versus Weaver though, just because like they just got crushed by it, and Bane alone is not good enough, especially when you have like a Clockwork to just completely disrupt his ultimate. When you have Visage too, who can just park a bird on top of Bane, they really do need some sort of secondary lockdown for Weaver.
Yeah. And it looks like it is going to be a Timber Saw mid, so it will be that support Veno, as we were mentioning, Clearly generally in the off lane, so will be presumably an off lane Doom, but we'll see exactly how they want to set it up here. Of course, Dragonite will be heading mid, being played by Wadafaka. So it should be an interesting match coming up here. Thoughts about the drafts overall? Do you like one over the other, Merlini?
I think both of them are pretty even. I don't like Bane versus Clockwork. There's some heroes
30
that
seconds.
I just absolutely do not like picking versus Clockwork. Earthshaker most notably, and Bane number
5
two.
seconds remaining.
Magnus is like kind of up there too. And Clockwork, a good Clockwork just shuts all those heroes down so badly, and then your team fights always just go to crap because one of your heroes just gets picked off, and they can't really do anything about it.
Right.
So I think Clockwork is just an amazing hero, and I would give like a slight edge to Next.KZ because of that. But I mean, Veno and Doom and Timber, they're all pretty good. So maybe like a not that much of a difference in between either of these two.
Gotcha. And
I was
yeah,
just smoke already from 4FC.
oh, yeah, look at this. A five-man team coming down. 4FC ready to start with a bang. And the bottom lane, of course, they're going to bump into this solo Clockwork, so they may be able to pick him off. If they can bump into him, Clockwork is going to be completely solo and not going to have much backup. So this could actually end up working pretty well for 4FC here. And oh no, Clockwork on the other side of the trees.
Oh wow,
He's going to bump
such
right into him.
ridiculously good movement
Wow.
from him.
Yeah, and he goes down right away. Exactly right. So, all right, 4FC not going to get quite as lucky as they would have hoped. They're going to continue roaming around the Radiant jungle here, but looking pretty grim in terms of them bumping into anyone else, as it looks like Next.KZ, as they're listed here on the actual client, going to be headed with their tri-lane into the top lane. So, all right, let's go ahead and introduce our rosters here. On the Radiant side, of course, we have Next.KZ, a.k.a. Next League, as I think they may be in the brackets. In the bottom, going to have Equal playing on the Clockwork, going to be solo in the safe lane. In the mid, Wadafaka going to be playing on the Dragonite, and of course, that tri-lane, as we mentioned, going to be in the top. Amazing on the Crystal Maiden, Reeves going to be playing on the Visage, and Mantis going to be hard farming on that Weaver. Now on the Dire side, of course, we do have four friends in Crilly, and let's see how their lanes are going to set up here. Crilly going to be the one on the Doom, and he may be heading into the jungle already. Right now he's headed up to the top lane. Oh, they're going to pull kind of an audible here. Generally, Crilly is that off lane player, but it looks like Strangby on the Mirana going to be in the bottom lane, going long lane Mirana here against the Clockwork. Blomberg going to be solo mid with the Timber Saw. Right now, Boomski is on the Bane, rotating through the mid. It might end up being a 2-1-2 here once 4FC let their lane settle down. Crilly on the Doom in the jungle.
It's already a smoke. Watch mid.
Yep, KRK going to be on that Veno up top. There is indeed a smoke. We see the Crystal Maiden and the Visage coming around the backside. Blomberg going to be in big trouble here. DK going to come in with the stun, and it's going to be an easy first blood. Going the way of our Radiant side. Next.KZ going to get the first kill on the board. Amazing. Going to be the one to grab that last hit on the Crystal Maiden.
Yeah, not bad. And I think like even though Forrest used a smoke and didn't get a kill, it's not that bad to spend 100 gold to get control of the opponent's jungle, but unfortunately they weren't able to really do anything with it. And a little bit unlucky that the rune spawned up top, but still, even without a haste rune, they would have still gotten the kill. So very nice movement coming out from Next.KZ.
Any thoughts about a support grabbing the extra bit of first blood gold rather a carry? I've heard some teams say that they try to give it to the support so they get that little bit of extra gold for extra wards, and other teams say it's better for the carry. Any thoughts on that one way or another, or is it more just whoever gets it, that's what's important, as we see Clockwork going to be in some trouble down here, that classic Bane-Mirana combo. But yeah, any thoughts about that first blood difference?
I think whoever gets it, gets it. I think if a support gets it, they should definitely buy the Flying Crow at 3 minutes. or by early boots, either one or the other, but it doesn't really matter. I think the bigger thing is setting back that mid hero, forcing him to buy a TP early, slowing down his bottle. And he's not going to have his bottle until like well after like the 2-minute mark, which is going to be a slightly big deal. Wadafaka already has his at 400 gold, so pretty much he's like almost a full bottle on top of him. And then on top of that, you have the arcane aura, so like just one game completely upset the balance of mid, and now he has rune control too. He'll be able to get this illusion rune. Looks like for Krilly is in a little bit of danger.
Yeah, perhaps. Looks like he may be able to scoot out just in the nick of time here. We did miss a kill on, well, we didn't comment on the kill down in the bottom lane on Clockwork, that classic Mirana-Bane combo that we commented on in the draft, coming in handy. Put him to sleep, connect with the arrow. They did it twice in a row, and not much equal can do. So now Clockwork, well, he's behind a little bit, I guess. Mirana did have to share experience with Bane, slightly ahead, but not by much, other than grabbing that kill. So it is all tied up 1-1 here. This Bane seems pretty dead set on
Doom
roaming
on
around.
top.
Yeah, we see Doom in a little bit of trouble here. I don't know if they're actually going to be able to secure the kill. Luckily for Doom, he's nice and tanky early on. And yeah, Reeves and Amazing trying to put on the pressure, slowing down that jungle time a little bit, but still unable to secure a kill.
Looks like Reeves may get slipped out here.
Yep, Boomski on his way in, and he's trying for it. That Fog of War making his life a little bit more difficult, not going to be able to connect with the Nightmare. And yeah, the battle of the supports here is this game seems to be pretty roam heavy. At present, though, it seems that that's been working well for Mantis up in the top lane. Weaver picking up a good bit of farm. He's number 2 on the last hits, 12-2. Veno been holding the lane against, and sort of interesting, it's a solo safe lane Veno up against the Weaver. Not getting much farm, but he's at least getting levels, almost level 4. Sort of interesting to see Veno playing that role.
I think versus a decent amount of heroes, Veno can just crush that lane and maybe get like early Bassi or Aquila and push down that tower. But I don't think like a Weaver is the right matchup to pair him against, just because slow is completely useless, and Weaver can just counter harass Venomancer very, very effectively. And even though Timbersaw did give up first blood in mid, he's still doing very well in terms of CS. Number 1 in the game right now, 18 last hits, a little bit over the DK in mid. And it looks like Venomancer is going for that Max Plague Ward build. And yeah, I mean, he's versus a tri-lane, he can die very easily, as opposed to the Weaver, who scales a lot better with the items, is extremely difficult to kill. And I don't particularly like this matchup from Forest C, but if they can get some towers with it, I think it's definitely a solid decision.
Yeah, definitely. And some of that will depend on the supports a little bit and when this Doom comes online. I'm kind of curious to see what build Krilly's going to go for here. If he goes for that hard farming Devour primary and Hand of Midas, or if he goes for something maybe a little bit kind of early mid-game oriented. I don't know. I'm always a fan of seeing the Aura build on Doom, but it looks like this Veno may be in a little bit of trouble here. And yeah, I think he's going to be hard-pressed to survive this one. The 1v3 scenario, plenty of crowd control, and Visage going to be the one to grab that last hit. So very unfortunate for KRK up there, but such is life for a lowly Venomancer in a 1v3 scenario.
Yeah, it was nice movement from the 3 Next.KZ. Like the 3 range heroes, like too often, like multiple people get hit by Gale, but they spread out like quite nicely around him. So you can tell that Next.KZ very well executed as a team. And I would like to see Doom go a mid game build, just because they have a mid game lineup, right? Venomancer not the best late game, Timbersaw not the best late game. Same with Potom too. So I think their lineup sort of dictates that they have to get a pretty sizable mid game lead if they want to out carry Next.KZ come like 35-40 minutes. I think their lineup is just fantastic for getting with Fiend's Grip, with Doom. They can definitely get a ton of kills.
Yeah, I think they'll certainly hit that mid-game stride. Again, it really depends on when this Doom comes online. When you see a Doom picked up, what build do you like? I mean, are you a fan
Arcane
of that
mech.
one position Doom? That sort of
No,
hard
I'm
farming
not.
crit? Yeah.
I think he like supplements your carries a lot more, melee more so than range, because I think that Vlad is an excellent pickup on him, especially with his lack of armor. But I definitely don't like the one position Doom. I've seen it before, and I've seen like a lot of different builds. I've seen like a lot of minus armor. I've seen just like radiance on him and other stuff. It just isn't as strong as other heroes. And if you wanted to do like a carry jungler, you can just go like Lone Druid or something a lot safer. And I've even seen like a Lone Druid into like an early Medallion and then Roshan. That's like way better than a Doom carry. You can just get things so much faster.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. I mean, basically the only time I've seen Doom in the one position really work well are those kind of games where it's just because he's an item and a half ahead of everyone else, not because Doom is particularly powerful in that role, just because he's snowballed out of control. So, Yeah, we'll see what they want to do here. And as you mentioned, Timbersaw really is doing quite well in the mid. He was the victim of that first blood, but still number 2 on the last hit chart. It's still 2 last hits or so ahead of that DK. It looks like he's made a pretty solid recovery. Close to level 6, does have his bottle and boots now, as does DK, his boots, and I believe the bottle's on the courier. Yep. So, stuck in a pause, though, unfortunately here, folks. Looks like Wadafaka having a little bit of a connection issue, though. As I say that, he is going to reconnect here, so hopefully we can resume momentarily. The one thing that 4FC are going to have to worry about is this Weaver. Mantis is off to one hell of a start here. He's leading the way on the net worth chart. Pardon me, second on the net worth chart, only to that of the DK in the mid lane. But still, you know, this Weaver will certainly be a force to be reckoned with if his farm keeps up and they're unable to secure some kills on him. I mean, they're going to be hard pressed to get a kill with just the Doom and the Venom until at least Doom hits 6. And right now, only level 3. So going to be a while before they can put too much pressure on the spider or the bug, whatever he is.
Clockwork's almost level 6. We should probably start seeing him move around a little bit. So even though he did die on bottom, he's still doing very well in terms of experience. And Stringbeat also went in a very unusual build on the Mirana with the Orb of Venom.
Oh, wow.
I guess I mean, it's unusual. It's okay, I guess. I mean, Mirana's right click is pretty weak anyways.
Yeah, that's interesting. Only a 4% slow on ranged heroes. I pretty much exclusively see it on melees. I can't recall a time I've seen a ranged hero grab the Orb of Venom. So,
Boomski may get caught out here if equal.
Is he going to find him? No vision. Trying to line up the hook shot. Not going to have any sights and not going to throw it here. I mean, what's the main advantage to getting an Orb of Venom this early? I guess you just get that little bit of extra poison damage. I can't imagine the 4% slow is going to help keep Strangby alive. We'll see him get hook-shotted here and maybe able to survive for a moment. Boomski going to be on his way in. He's going to try to slow down Equal. Going to get caught in the Nightmare. The Moonlight Shadow comes out. They're going to try to turn this around. Strangby needs to be a little bit careful here. Going to get right up into his face and will connect with a Starfall. And, Mirana actually going to fall right there. Are they going to be able to finish off Equal? He's got the poison on him. Boomski not going to be looking around to find him. Oh, man. Equal just going to be able to pour it out. I would think I'd have to label that a misplay by the Mirana right there.
Yeah, that was
I don't know what to make
very unfortunate for 4FC. I mean, they should have. Yeah, I don't particularly like the rotation from the Bane. He like went all the way around. You can just pretty much just straight up go from the lane at nighttime because rarely do people ward up their off lane just because they're scared of off lane Clockwork. But not. All in all, not that huge of a loss, I suppose. Wadafaka already in dragon form, looking for the Doombringer. Doombringer's had constant pressure on him all game. I feel a little bit bad for Krilly. He's just constantly pressured. He has a ward over here, or like Visage and Crystal Maiden just constantly looking for him. He's level 3.5 right now, and even the Venom Macer's really scared.
Yeah. And that's exactly right. We were talking about Weaver's not going to have much pressure coming his way until Doom comes online at level 6, and based on the amount of pressure they put his way...
Oh, they scout him out with a rocket. He's in a lot of trouble.
A while before that happens, exactly right. Venomancer is going to be able to use the Healing Soul to at least get back up to full health. He's going to make this army of Plague Wards to try and buy himself some time. Oh, look at that block right there. He's going to keep himself safe. What a fucking not going to be able to make it in. Now Bane going to make a rotation up. He's going to use the Nightmare. Gale not going to connect. Oh, no, that's very unfortunate. May still be able to finish off the Dragon Knight here. Doom's now moved out of the jungle. Timbersaw rotating up as well. What a fuck, level 7, sipping up that bottle. Very tanky on that Dragon Knight. Only 1 point in the Dragon Blood. I think he's going to be slated to fall right here as he micros his way through the trees. If he escapes this, he definitely deserves some applause here, but he's going to move towards the tower, looking for a perhaps dire kill, but going to come out on the Timbersaw there as he grabs the last hit. So, kind of unfortunate. Really a nice play by that Venomancer, though, to block out that little entrance there and keep himself alive. Very nicely played.
Yeah, they have good awareness, and they know that their jungle is being invaded and put themselves in a pretty fortified position so that they can play very aggressively on Next.KZ if they want to tower dive. I'm surprised Clockwork didn't TP up. I guess he didn't have his hook shot, but it probably would have saved the DK, and I think they need... If Timbersaw is going to keep on rotating, they need Clockwork to rotate too, because Next.KZ, they do have the better late game, so all they need to do is get like even on kills by like the 20-minute mark, maybe slightly ahead, like a 2,000 or 3,000 gold lead would probably be sufficient to carry them enough if both teams execute team fights decently. Looks like Chicken.
Almost. Not quite, but a close call. We saw Visage deny that haste
nice arrow.
By Timbersaw. Oh, yeah, that's going to be a kill on the Visage. Pretty easy kill coming out for Strangby, but he's still maybe in a little bit of trouble here. Does not have leap, doesn't have enough mana or the cooldown. Dragon Knight going to come in. Elder Dragon form. That's going to be an easy 1-for-1 right there. Visage for the Mirana, although it was a nice arrow. Unfortunately, I think Next.KZ going to find the better exchange right there, trading a support for the Mirana offlaner.
Yeah, 4SC is really hurting on experience too, and mainly is his Doom. And usually you'd be able to get a lot of farm in other lanes because two or three heroes are constantly in your jungle. But unfortunately, with that bottom death on bottom and another bottom death, KZ is pulling pretty far ahead in the experience chart, 2,500 at this point.
Yeah. Exactly right. And Weaver did actually go Hand of Midas first. He's now got his power treads in the Ring of Basilius, but I think he got it right around the 6.5 minute mark, and that's a pretty solid timing. From what I've been told, if you can get the Midas around 6 minutes or earlier, then it doesn't really mess up your timing, and you'll get that Linkens and the rest of your late game items pretty much on par and then some as that Midas starts to become online. So I think with Next.KZ having that carry advantage, going to be good news for them in the upcoming moments as this Weaver still in free farm mode. That top tier 1 tower did fall, but it was denied by the Venomancer. So again, Veno with some crafty plays, but still this Weaver left completely unchecked, absolutely demolishing the last hit chart.
There's smoke on bottom.
19. Yep. So yeah, anyway, Weaver going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I think the Midas pickup is completely okay here because your biggest threat is getting doomed, and if Doom is really underfarmed, then it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, Murata in a little bit of trouble here, stuck in the cogs, is going to have a leap off cooldown, trying to stand his ground against Equal, not going to be able to survive that. Gale again.
That Gale missed? That looked like it hit.
Oh man, it was right on the edge, but not going to connect. Would have been a kill on the Clockwork, but oh no, now Veno gets turned around on. Reeves goes in, Clockwork finishes him off with a rocket. This is just a disaster for 4FC. Second time Clockwork going to escape by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, I think Mirana should just like popped all her cooldowns. They don't have a dust. They have a Sentry Ward, but if you pop Moonlight Shadow, turn around and leap, she didn't use leap at all. And go for the Clockwork kill. I mean, I guess it's not a terrible decision, but she needs to be in like recovery mode right now. With the Orb of Venom pickup, she's really far behind in terms of farm. Just Brown Boots, Orb of Venom, Ring of Aquila, really low on net worth. And this was like a dual lane bottom, babysat by a Bane. And having 3 deaths at this point in the game is going to hurt their team a lot, especially considering she's like their only late game.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we're going to see Strang B rotate to the top lane following that death. We see the creeps pushing into the top tier 2 tower and have a little bit of farming room for a moment here, but not going to be able to lane against that Weaver too well. There's a big difference in farm items and also levels. Weaver level 10, Mirana almost level 9 here, so there is definitely an advantage. This mid tier 1 tower for 4FC starting to become under heavy fire. That level 9 Dragon Knight in Elder Dragon form, and tower down to about 180 hit points or so, and oh, my apologies, missing that kill on Bane down in the bottom lane. Looks like a pretty classic 3v1 scenario hookshot from Clockwork, and all she wrote for the poor Bane.
All she wrote indeed, and yeah, they're just putting constant pressure up. Weaver split pushing one lane, Dragon Knight with his extreme defensive capabilities, pretty safe, constantly pushing mid, and Clockwork is just wrecking havoc on bottom. So 4FC kind of hard pressed to do anything, and this is not the time to be behind with their lineup. Like if they get behind like 5 or 10 more kills, the game's just gonna completely slip away from them, just because they don't have any like really devastating, hey, you know, 5-man RP, we're gonna win team fights. They don't really have that great of anything like that. They can like turtle with Venomancer with the Plague Wards and like Chakram, but that's pretty much just dealing the inevitable.
Right. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Looking at the gold graph here, almost a 7,500 gold lead already for Next.KZ here at the 12-minute mark. Experience graph pretty comparable, somewhere about 6,000. So it's already starting to look a little bit grim. If you were in the ear of 4FC right now, what would you tell them? I mean, what's their golden ticket to trying to make recovery here?
I would say just 3 or 4-man gank with smokes, doesn't matter. Nighttime's a perfect time to do it, and they just need to lead off with Dooms, lead off with Fiend's Grip, but Next.KZ is just pressuring them around the map. Like Doom's forced to retreat from the jungle. He has no idea where they are, how many teammates are up there with the Weaver, and they just have to take some risks sometime. You can't just play on the back foot and hope that you're gonna carry out. They're pretty much their only farm mechanic right now is Devour, right? They don't have any Hand of Midas, they don't have any like great late game, they don't have any tower income, so you can't play passively and farm and hope to get back in the game. You have to take risks, try and gank and take towers.
Right, and it looks like they may try and set up a gank up in the top lane here. Moonlight Shadow going to be used to try and set up something on the Weaver. He is going to get the Doom off right before that Shikuchi goes, so he is doomed, unfortunately, for our entire side here. Mantis is going to be able to micro his way into the trees, and look at this crafty play. Wow. They don't know where he went off to. Oh man, that sneaky bug going to be able to survive. 4FC have absolutely no idea where he is. Doom is already expired, so at this point he's just going to be able to Shikuchi away. Has time lapse still. Very nicely played by the Weaver. So unfortunate for 4FC.
Yeah, I mean, even though you have Doom, you still kind of need dust and sentries, and I'm surprised they didn't have any there. But I mean, they tried to gank, but unfortunately they're not going to be able to do so for quite some time. Bane is level 6. They do really desperately need some kills though. Pot 'em with phase boost pickup. We've seen like the Bane pot 'em arrow once, and like even Bane into like a chakram, Bane sleep into a chakram would do pretty well. They aren't able to shut the DK down at all either. He already has treads and almost a shadow blade.
Wow. Yeah, that's going to be only actually 300 gold off or so, so you're absolutely right. That's going to be something else that they're going to have to deal with based on how little they've been able to deal with Weaver and his invisibility. I imagine that Shadow Blade going to be even more deadly. Third tower of the match looking like it may go down here in the bottom lane as Next.KZ continue to push forward. That will make it 3-0 in total tower count. Going to push that gold graph even up a little bit higher here. Now surpassing that 7,500 gold lead, and experience graph kind of leveling out here at this point. Timbersaw seems to be farming okay still. He's kind of par for the course. He is #1 on the Dire side, has that point booster bottle, and does have the arcane boots, so working towards that bloodstone, but still quite a ways off. I mean, they don't really have anyone that's dominating right now. No one that's doing really well. Crilly working towards the mech. He's got those first 2 core pieces, about another 500 gold off or so. So I guess that's a step in the right direction. Doom at least level 7 now, going primary devour, so looking for perhaps some recovery for him here.
Yeah, and the supports on Next.KZ actually mostly just the Visage, but he's really farm. Looks like Manta's finally going to take a spill on top.
Yep, Fiend's Grip into Arrow, not going to be able to survive that one. Nicely done, but just look at how much resources that took from 4FC. I mean, it was really a 4 versus 1 to some degree. They only needed 2, but I guess Doom was farming, but still a lot of resources used to try and set up that kill. Timbersaw almost level 11, I guess another positive aspect here. This poor Venomancer, though, he's just so poor. Even though he's solo laned, he's got decent experience. He is level 8, but only Arcane Boots right now. He's just so susceptible. If anyone jumps on him, absolutely no way he's going to be able to survive. DK now with that Shadow Blade complete, going to use it to roam into the Radiant, or pardon me, Dire jungle.
Another
and
gank on top.
Yep, look for an opportunity. The Nightmare into the Arrow, and I think Clockwork's destined to fall. Indeed, Doom going to be burned as well. That does end the dominating streak. Nice 550 gold bounty going the way of Mirana. Small pick-me-up, but still exactly what 4FC need to get back in this match.
Yeah, they definitely needed those 2 kills. And Next.KZ, I think they can just keep up the pressure. I think probably they were waiting for the Shadow Blade as well as the Linken's coming out Weaver, which should actually come out very, very soon. He already has his ultimate orb just a little over 1,000 gold away. And Visage is fairly close to a Scepter too. He has Point Booster and an Ogre Club as well as a Medallion. So wow, he's not just like straight rushing a Scepter. And he's way more farmed than I thought he was. And they can do Roshan pretty soon if they win like a fight in mid or a fight on top, or 4C even wants to go for a push on top, they can sneak in Roche. Wadafaka going to the Ancients.
Oh no, he's going to catch this Venomancer. He's got a haste rune on, not that he needs it. Going to open up with a big hit to the face thanks to that backstab. Down goes the Veno. So easy for Wadafaka right there. Doesn't even need to use the Breathe Fire. Just one Dragon Tail going to be enough. He's just going to rotate to the mid lane here. Going to force the Timbersaw back. Definitely needs to get out though as Bane is trying to set something
close
up. Port coming in.
If he got gripped right there, he would have just gotten owned.
Yeah, well, he does make it out, though. Cutting it close, but the haste rune does secure his survival. Another kill on the board for Next.KZ, 8-5 here at the 17-minute mark. Next.KZ still in control of this game, but 4FC showing a sign of life as they are starting to group up. We see that gold graph starting to plateau a little bit, at least for now. So, 4FC are hanging in there. That Weaver is really what's going to be scary, though. Looking at the net worth chart, he's now about 3,000 gold ahead of the leading farmers on 4FC, which are the Mirana as well as the Timbersaw at about 5,000. So, at this point, he's basically an item ahead, and that's a scary place to be, especially when he has a Midas in the inventory as well.
Yeah, I think they didn't punish him nearly enough for this Midas. They have Doom, they have the grip just like constantly come top. They have these pretty nicely placed wards over there, and they can try and keep up the pressure on him. But just letting him free farm like this for like a good 15 minutes before they even got a kill on him is just not the right idea. He's going to kind of be the same as the Weaver like yesterday. Oh, there's a Moonlight Shadow. Look for Mantis.
Oh, and he's going to take the right path. Not going to move into the jungle, going to move into the river, and Mantis going to be safe at least for now. We'll see what 4FC want to do here. I like that they're trying to stay aggressive, though. They are using that Moonlight Shadow anytime it seems they may have an opportunity. Looks like they do have their sights set on mid, though. In the bottom lane, it looks like Next.KZ going to smoke up here and start rotating towards the bottom. Looks like they've got their sights set on this poor Venomancer once again. So this could be kind of a double gank incoming here. Mantis solo in the mid lane, and Venomancer solo in the bottom. We may see the cataclysm here as the teams start to approach one another.
Yeah, Venomancer felt that one out too. He pinged out, or somebody pinged out. I think Doom pinged out there, and very nice of him not to get caught out there.
Yeah. So here we go.
Oh,
They're just going to
just
go
kidding.
straight
He gets
between
caught
that
out.
tower. Yeah, Venno, absolutely nothing he can do. I mean, just a couple of right clicks from Dragon Knight and that Elder Dragon form, a Dragon Tail. And down he goes. So that's going to be a 1-0, and now it should be a pretty easy tower for Next.KZ in the mid lane here. There is a glyph available for 4FC. Going to choose not to burn it, equal with a double damage rune on, also level 11, so that hook shot a little bit more potent, slightly longer range as well. Next.KZ not going to get over aggressive though. They're just going to take that tower back up. Looks like they're going to pull a rotation, clear out the Dire Ancient, and then possibly pressure this bottom tier 2 tower as well.
There's a catch-up minus on the Mirana. Is she gonna outcarry? I don't think so. I mean, it is if Next.KZ like maybe tries to play like super passively with the Midas and the Devour, maybe they can get back into the game, especially if they can take out Roshan. But it's still a pretty long shot from Mirana.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be, I mean, Mirana's just not one of those traditional hard carries. As I've been told, she can hard carry if farm allows and gets like kind of an item ahead, but without that, she's just a nice mid-game semi-carry with some solid bursts that will tend to kind of fall off towards the end. Yeah, 4FC going to burn that smoke, and they're just going to hang out here. Looks like they're going to try and set the trap, perhaps. No, they're just going to wait, I guess. Not going to set a trap, but we'll be hanging out nearby as Amazing and Mantis start to come over. Sentry Ward.
Oh, wow, he popped the... Wow, that's a very nice play by him. He like kind of sensed out the smoking and went over here in this position, popped the smoke, and then now he scouts him out with a reserve reward. 4FC knows that they have a reserve reward now, but still very nice play coming out from Mantis.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, Next.KZ going to back up, going to save their efforts for another day here. The Weaver, now level 14, does have the Lincolns complete, another 1,400 gold in the bank. So Weaver continuing that dominating streak in terms of farm, still leading the way in hero level
CS
as well.
is monstrous.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. 160-22, DK second on the chart, still yet to break the double digits. That is pretty impressive.
And that's with dying ones too. Oh wow, another catch-up Midas.
Yeah. Who's this? I missed the...
Doom.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Wow, so that is a late Midas coming out on the Doom. He totally could have had that a lot earlier if he wanted to go this kind of farming recovery. I mean, he had that slow start, as we mentioned. Thoughts about the double Midas recovery here? Yeah, Krilly not going to get to use that first cooldown. Great timing to set up this gank. Going to slow down that farm even more. He does pop the mech, but not going to be enough. Now Strangby could be in a little bit of trouble here. Does have the leap and going to hop away. Boomski nearby as well. But oh no, now Boomski going to get caught. He'll take a Dragon Tail to the face. That's going to be just 2 easy kills at this point. Next.KZ, there's not even much strategy here. Just walk around, find somebody.
Visage too.
Yeah, and make it happen. Yeah, Scepter on Visage. Wow, that is really fast. Where did his farm come from? He's number 3 on the chart here, 6.8 on the K on the net worth chart. So
that's something about Visages. Like you don't see them do that much. He's 2-4, but like he has ridiculous amounts of farm, and his CS isn't that incredible. I don't know how these Visages keep farming up Scepters. Nicely placed ward right here. I think that set it up for them, noticing that the Doom was just headed off to the jungle there. So now 1 T2 left for 4C. They are in a pretty bad position right now. They do need more wards up, but if Next.KZ just like gets a gem, takes down their wards, and just runs around and tries to star 4C, they can easily win this game. So the game's really on Next.KZ to
throw.
Boomski.
Yeah, gold lead now upwards of 12,000. Experience lead somewhere around 10,000 here at the 22-minute mark. So it's definitely getting worse and worse as time goes on here for 4FC. I don't know. I'm skeptical that these late hands of Midas are really going to be able to create much recovery farm. I mean, I have the feeling Next.KZ can deliver that killing blow really before they see much return on investment here with these Midas.
I mean, they're pretty much set, or like they have 2 strategies, right, to get back in from this huge golden experience deficit. Is either hit a Midas and farm it back up and out farm them, or out gank them. And the gank part hasn't been working out, so they kind of have to go for resort number 2. Scouts out that Moonlight Shadow, Wadafaka does on top, and Visage is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Visage very well may fall right here. Strangby going to hop forward, just going to buy enough time for Doom to come in. Not even going to burn the Doom. They don't need it. He's got the Ensnare after devouring one of those Dark Troll Summoners. And that will set up for an easy kill, but it's not over yet. Wadafaka going to come in. Double damage rune on. That Elder Dragon form, he is doomed, but already has the ulti on, doing a lot of damage to that Timbersaw. Down he goes. Nice cogs. Going to come out from equal as he does push him back. Going to be able to set up a kill on Doom as well. It's going to be a 1-for-2 exchange as the support comes in from Next.KZ, and they're going to find the better of the fight yet again here. 13-6 as they do press forward, looking like they may take out the last outer tower here for 4FC.
And yeah, I mean, Dragon Knight was not even scared of it. He got doomed and he did not even turn around. He's just like, I do not care at all. Also, very nice hook shot from the Clockwork. It was very nice cogs to push those two melee out, but his hook shot actually got two of them, even though they were like 400 range away. So Equal playing like a pretty beastly Clockwork.
Yep, and here we see Wadafaka getting a bit aggressive here. He's still in Elder Dragon form for a few more seconds. Is going to get hit by Nightmare, and then also this Gale will connect right on the edge, and the Force Staff going to come in to bring him back to safety. So total tower count now is 6-0 in favor of Next.KZ, and again, that gold graph looking even worse now, about 14,000 gold lead, and that's a BKB now in the inventory of the Dragon Knight.
Yeah, 4FC's just not really getting much out of their picks. Like Bane Bottom combo, we saw what maybe set up twice on bottom lane and like once on a kill for top, but they have to like keep using it over and over, keep up the pressure, and just seems like their teamwork is not really there today. How many successful Dooms have we seen into kills? Like
none.
maybe, yeah, none even. So, I mean, yeah, Doom was under a lot of pressure, but he still can catch back up quite easy. I mean, look at his items. It's not like he didn't have the time to farm. They just need to utilize their picks, though. Try and get some synergy with just ganking and killing.
Yeah, we saw Next.KZ there sort of poke into the Roshan pit, did a little bit of damage, and 4FC sort of making a stand, looking like that they would have tried to engage. I'm a little bit surprised that Next.KZ played that so passively. I think even if 4FC tried to contest that, Next.KZ...
They know they have the Lakin, though. There's no pressure, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true, yeah. No pressure to take a fight, but I think they could win a straight-up 5v5 right now as long as they get a semi-decent engagement even in the Roche pit. But we'll see. Looks like they're going to walk through the pit here. DK going to go up into the high ground to scout it out. They're really tempted by this Roshan. There was a Plague Ward there on the high ground that did scout it out a little bit, but looks like Next.KZ may start to commit. 4FC really not in a position to contest at this point as they have spread out. Drops. Yeah, seriously, the Medallion of Courage, all that minus armor, Roche is just going to get obliterated here. Also a Desolator out on the Weaver. Not sure if we mentioned that, but yeah, he's officially transitioned into carry mode here.
Dagon on Clockwork.
Not too rare we get to see that, but Equal, well, I guess he has no fears here.
Yeah, now they can push up mid. They just had the Desolator pickup. They just took out the Aegis. And does Dragon Knight have BKB? Yeah, he has BKB too. So this is like the perfect time for 4FC to push. I mean, technically they could farm and wait another 10 minutes, but I think they just want to take it down to Rex right now.
Yeah. Deliver that killing blow while you can. Like you said, they have that round of core items. No need to sit back and, you know, farm up the Dagon levels. I guess Weaver could farm
They need
up
a split push, I think, though.
Yeah.
The Venom Wars are just incredibly difficult to push against, as well as the Chakram. So I think Weaver should be on bottom.
Yeah, I could agree with that. But they're going to bide their time here, of course. Oh, a nice arrow going to connect with Dragon Knight. There should be a glyph still available for 4FC. Yes, indeed. So they will have the opportunity to try and defend this tower via the invulnerability. Again, Next.KZ not going to overextend. The Aegis is in the inventory of the Weaver. I do agree with you, my friend. I think some split pushing here may do them well. 4FC certainly don't have the resources to deal with a split push. Yeah.
I think they're strong enough to just brute force it, though. For 15k, I suppose that is pretty sizable.
That's pretty sizable. Yeah, they should be able to. But, oh, look at that Force Staff on Bane. Beautifully done. Arrow going to come in. Is going to connect with the Clockwork, but it's already a 5v4. Plague Ward's annoying, but I don't know that they'll be enough to secure 4FC the victory in this fight. The Tier 3 tower is going to fall. 4FC on the back leg here. They're trying to micro back towards the well a bit. And Dragon Knight just continuing to zone them out. Chakram is going to connect. Doom going to be used on Dragon Knight again, but the follow-up just not going to be there. Mantis taking a lot of damage. Does have that time-lapse. Going to stand his ground for now. Will time-lapse back. That Chakram doing a lot of damage. 4FC still unable to secure a kill. There it is. First going to finish off the Crystal Maiden. Going to grab the Visage Nest next, but still not coming out ahead in this fight. Checking the buyback status. There have been a few burned by 4FC Marana as well as the Veno, and still not going to be enough to hold. The tower has gone down. Rax exposed. Glyph finally going to be burned as the Rax start to take heavy damage. Blomberg trying to do what he can. Nice stun going to interrupt the Timber Chain. Blomberg going to fall. Now it's just going to be the Bane and the Marana. And yeah, it's looking pretty grim here for this mid laner Rax.
Yeah, and two nice Force Staffs by Equal. First to catch off the boot, Bane to set up the fight, and then second to push DK into the Timber so he got that stun off. And yeah, it looks like it's pretty close to being GG.
Yep, and there it is. GG well played do come out from 4FC, so a reasonably quick game, fairly one-sided in favor of Next.KZ here, 20-8 for our first match of the day. We do have 4 matches coming up today, so 3 more on the docket. I'm Zayori. Joining me was Merlini. That is game 1 in the books here, and I'm trying to pull up the schedule so I can let you guys know who is coming up next. And
The Power Rangers.
Yes. Oh, we're going to see Next.KZ again and see how they fare against Power Rangers. After that, it will be Power Rangers versus the super strong dinosaurs, and then rox.kis can be facing off against Poseidon. So that is what we have on the docket coming up here today, guys. Thank you for joining us on Beyond the Summit. We're going to take a short break. Probably going to be a decent break, actually. Next match isn't slated to start for another 15 minutes or so. So sit tight. Plenty more Dota 2 action coming your way.